Hi guys, my name is Fatma Sajad and I'll be your host for today's podcast. And today it gives me immense pleasure to introduce all of you to our guest, Seemi Suleri, who is not just a tech transformational leader, but has more than a decade of experience. And she's also working as a VP of engineering at Prima. So, Assalamu alaikum, Seemi, kaisi hain aap? Theek
Walaikum
hai?
salam. Very good. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Let's just dive in with the podcast today. And you have so many years of experience in the field of tech and engineering and in the field of software industry. So I would want to know that personally, you have lived and worked across borders and cultures, right? You went you got your early years of education from here, and then you went to UK. So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced as being the VP of engineering at Prima, and in your previous roles also? How did you navigate them? And being a woman also, because mostly I think it is a male dominated industry so far.
Yeah, it is a male-dominated industry. I'll basically break down my journey into a few parts.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
the first of all is whoever goes through the journey of studying in Pakistan and working
Yes.
in Pakistan initially. I worked for a couple of years here, and then actually moving in and going into the industry somewhere else. The biggest thing you would do when you start living in a different culture is you ask yourself around your identity, who you are, where do you belong? And this is a question I still have to answer because
Identity crisis.
yeah, it's sort of like a crisis, but it's also sort of like a question you need to ask yourself. So what happens is you go and you do this journey and you're like, now I've lived half of my life here, half of my life there. And then you think, okay, am I a citizen of the UK or am I a citizen of Pakistan? Who am I? Where do I belong? And I think the idea is that what I found out is that you kind of exist in the transition of things. We are ever evolving as human beings, and I think that to accept the fact that we will always be changing, evolving, and that ties in very nicely to the tech industry. Because by the time we build the software that is up to date, the software market has changed already.
Yeah.
So we are already out of
Definitely
date by the
over
time
there.
we put something out there. Being a woman in tech, I would say challenges are similar in that you don't have many examples of female executives in technology who are successful, especially if you have, let's say, you look different,
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
you
Oh,
are from
definitely.
ethnically
Yeah,
different
ethnically
from the
different.
majority. There are not many women anyway, but there are even fewer from South Asia. And if you see, they're mostly perhaps Indian women who are at the forefront. I have not met another Pakistani tech executive like me, perhaps one or two, that's it. So that's very, very rare. But that doesn't mean that it can't be done. So what I want to do, what my hope is that people would understand that it is something that can be done. No job is easy, so I wouldn't say that the challenges are any more than they would be in order to get ahead in your career. So just the way I approached it is, you go on your journey, don't compare yourself to others, and then think about.
That's a tough word.
Yeah, it is. It is, because I think we spend so much time
Yeah.
just comparing ourselves to, that person is a senior software engineer. Why am I just a junior? Something like this. You're on your own journey. Do your own path. Be an expert of what you do, and then eventually you will get there. And this has been my approach all the way through my career, transitioning, working here, working there, all of that, and that applies across the board. So that would be my one insight, I think.
Tech transformation means different things to different people. So, how do you define it in your work, and what are the lessons that you've learned from it so far?
So tech transformation is one of those buzzwords in the industry that people try to use and sell a lot. So there are a lot of companies that are like, oh, we'll transform everything. But then when you look into it, it's just like, what are you talking about? People don't know. In my experience, transformation happens constantly in the tech industry. So tech transformation is not something that happens in an instant of time. It has happened consistently in the industry because, like I said before, the moment that you put out a software, by the time it is there, it's already out of date because something new has come up. So in order to move, it's not just the systems that need to be evolved constantly, it is who builds the systems as well. And I think one of the elements that I feel are very important and often forgotten element of tech transformation is that tech doesn't happen without the people who build the tech. So when you're looking at tech transformations, don't forget about the role that people have to play in order to get those transformations delivered. So you need to consider what are the environmental factors, what are the economic factors that are impacting your teams, and then structure and plan according to the needs of the time. And that's what is an important element of tech transformation that is often forgotten. Because as people who work in software businesses, we already know that transformation is inevitable. It is always happening. Transformation essentially means change. But it is our ability to foresee it and almost design our systems and treat our people and processes as if change is always going to happen. So you preempt it. You always think, okay, we are going stable phase doesn't exist. You can say, well, where there is going to be a dip somewhere or there's going to be a spike somewhere, how are we going to manage around it? And the better you manage around it, the better you are prepared for when it happens.
Okay, so what was the thought and motivation behind building Reconnect, and what was your thought with that?
Okay, so Reconnect is a community interest company, which basically means that it doesn't generate any profit for anyone. What it does is it creates whatever money it generates goes back into the community.
Okay.
And the reason why I built it is because where I live in the UK, in Dorset, there weren't any tech conferences. So I went around to some heads of companies and some CEOs around the area, and we had this dinner, and we were talking about it. And I said, let's build a conference, because I think there is some appetite in the software, professionals, that there is no conference around this part of the UK. And I was told it's nearly impossible to do. It's really, really hard. Blah blah blah,
definitely.
And all of those kind of things. The costs are really high. There's admin. So it's one of those things. You can't have me in a room with a lot of people saying it can't be done. And I would like, well, I'll just do it then.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to do it. So I basically built the company, built the team, and did that
from scratch.
Yeah, everything. And I've not run an event ever. So the first time I invested my own money in it and basically lost pretty much everything. I invited my friends from the industry to speak. So the speakers were basically coming in from London, from all over the place, just to speak at this conference because of my personal connections. And then the next year round, it was much better, because we set out a call for papers. We got a lot of submissions, and the conference attracted hundreds of people. And we also made profit out of it, So it was great. It's self-sustaining now. We're coming back again in July, and I'm very happy about it. It's like once a year event, but it is something I do in my whatever spare time I have. Right. And it's got a board of directors that run it. But the motivation behind it is that tech community needs to be built and come together to learn, because it adds a lot. And for me, community is very important. What you give back is very important.
But it does it become any different in terms of as you just mentioned right now, that now it has a board of directors and everything is self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Does it become any different that it is being led by a woman?
That's a very good question, actually. I think
because I want to understand the dynamics, because naturally the board of directors are going to be full of males.
I would say it's a 50-50. That's a very deliberate
How do they
thing.
take it?
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, it's great. I mean, so far I've been leading teams that are predominantly 98% male.
Definitely.
Personally, I've not felt it. The only time when I felt that it was perhaps a disadvantage being a woman is when opportunities and responsibilities were being given. When I was not the senior person in the room, then people would not give me the opportunity until they absolutely had to. So women generally in engineering are considered to be maybe the dumber one in the room. So they will say, oh, she's the dumb one. She'll get the last of the opportunities. So I figured out very early on that I had to work twice as hard to get half the credit. But to be honest, the world is not fair. You have to live by it. Somehow, somewhere, people will be unfair with you. And that's common with men as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I am very competitive personally, so I thought, well, if I have to do twice the work, I'll do twice the work. But I'll get what I want. So what I would say is, sometimes what happens with women is that when that thing comes in front of you and you think, you know what, this person, just because of their gender, is getting all of the opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm doing twice the work and then getting half the opportunities. Then sometimes it gets to you, right? You get depressed, you just stop trying.
It's natural.
Yeah, but I didn't stop trying because I wanted that opportunity so much. I was single-minded. I was like, I'm not going to go. I am going to get it. And so in the end, sometimes, not always, but sometimes they didn't have a choice. There was like, there's just nobody else who works as much and as well as her. So this opportunity needs to be given to her. I just don't stop. That's one of my qualities.
Okay.
If I want something, I want it.
Perfect. What has your experience been like as a woman working in, tech leadership especially, and how do you see like women today shaping and redefining the tech industry?
One of the things I would say is an interesting thing. I'll tell you, the first time I was in a senior leadership team,
Yeah.
and I sat down, and so I'm always the only woman in a room full of men. And I sat down and I listened to everybody's points, and there was a discussion happening, and I kind of, it was an online thing, so on Google you can raise your hand. So I was like raising my hand, waiting for my turn. My turn came, I started talking, and as soon as I said like one sentence, a guy interrupted me. And I said to him, I'm not finished talking yet. And so he shut up and he listened to me. And he let me finish my sentence. And the funny part is, my CTO at the time, because I was reporting to a CTO, he said to me, now he's always going to treat you as his equal, because I will not give you the mic until I'm finished. I wait for my turn, and when it is my turn, nobody interrupts me. So I also think that women should be more assertive. If it is your turn, it is your ground. Don't let anybody take it from you, because you have to be a force of nature in order to get somewhere in the world. Remember, the world is very, very competitive. And I feel like in the tech industry, there was this recent report that said that in record numbers, women are leaving the tech industry.
Yeah.
And that's disheartening. And I know that why that's happening. One, there are not enough role models. And when there are women on the top of the game, they are not pulling enough women up there. They're not saying, okay, I'm going to be your mentor. I'm going to let you, teach you how to get to the next stage. I think we need to do that more. I also think women need to be more visible. I don't see many examples of women in tech out there who are speaking about it, who are doing things, who are out there showing their face. I think we need to do that more. Because women naturally don't do it very, it's not something that comes naturally to them, So we want to kind of, okay, well, I've done my job. I don't need to go and boast about it or something, right?
Yeah.
Men are very good at advertising themselves. Women are not. And I think we need to be better at that. In technology, I feel there is a huge gap. It's still, even in the UK, on average, it's 20%. I don't know what Pakistani percentage is, but I guess it's probably low, or and I think that's terrible in a way, that because I feel like when you build systems, women naturally bring empathy, the human-centered approach that I really, really like about it. And I think the teams that have got women in it are better teams, because it's got that heart in it. But at the same time, you have to be competent. You have to play the same game. You have to be ready to compete against others. And like I said, it's not a fair world, and just make peace with the fact that sometimes it will be unfair. But it's the game of resilience. If you are resilient, you can make it through.
My last question, looking ahead, like what are you most excited about the future of tech? In terms of innovation and in terms of AI as being the buzzword.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't get excited about any trends in the tech industry, because what is more important to me is whether we are ready for change. Okay, like I said to you before, tech industry changes all the time. When internet became popular, it changed everything, and the businesses, the way we lived our lives. When social media became common, it changed everything, the way we interacted with our friends and everything. And AI is no different. So we have an enormous capacity to adapt to situations and actually use these tools to our advantage and change with it. So I'm not like super excited or let's say not excited. I'm kind of like neutral about the trends. What I'm excited about is the fact that with AI, one of the things that is happening is technology is becoming the center point of a lot of conversations. So people are talking about artificial intelligence, but not a lot of people are talking about the real human side of everything. What is the impact on the human beings? How are we going to build better teams?
The human versus AI debate.
Exactly. And I think I'm more on the human side. I've always been. And I think that the companies and the people who are paying more attention to the human beings and the interactions will ultimately win. And that is what excites me about the future.
All right. Thank you so much, Seemi, for being here today and taking out your precious time and answering all our questions about the tech industry.
Oh, it's
Thank you
absolute
so
pleasure. It's been great
so
being here and talking to you.